Hello students, how are you? I think everything is going well, right? So we'll come to our last chapter, acoustics. Okay, so what is acoustics? I think you are very familiar with the term acoustics, right? Even we'll go through the term acoustics. What is that, right? So acoustics is a branch of physics that deals with the process of generation, reception and propagation of sound. Okay, acoustics means what? It deals with how the sound generates, in what ways the sound generates, and up to where it propagates. Okay, and how it reflects, right? So what happens when it reflects, and up to what time the reflected sound is persist in that particular area, or up to what time the sound waves propagate. All these are in the acoustics. So we can say the branch of physics which deals with the generation, reception and propagation of sound is called acoustics. Okay, this branch in fact covers many fields like designing of acoustical instruments, electroacoustics like microphones, amplifiers, loudspeakers and musical instruments too. Based on these acoustic formulas only, we'll design the acoustic instruments, right? Okay, so to know about these acoustics well, that is for example, if you are in a theater or if you are in an auditorium, right, a speaker used to deliver his speech, right, and we are listening. When the speaker is delivering his speech, what happens? We are able to hear the direct waves, right? And when the waves propagates towards the walls, what happens? That because of the walls, the sound wave reflects back, and then we'll also hear the reflected waves. Okay, those are indirect waves, right? So at a particular time, at a very short period, we are listening the direct waves as well as the indirect waves, where we'll get some confusion, right? So to overcome that, we have to construct the auditoriums and theaters in a particular manner using the formulas of acoustics, right? So for that, we have to know some important terminology of acoustics. Of them, the first one is reverberation. Okay, next, time of reverberation, standard time of reverberation. Come to the reverberation. What is that? The persistence of audible sound even after the source of sound is cut off. That is, the persistence of audible sound even the source of sound is cut off, right? That is, when the speaker is delivering his speech, we are able to listen that. After he stops his speech also, if we are hearing the indirect waves, okay, that we can say the persistence of sound waves. Okay, persistence of audible sound of the health wave. Okay, so the waves received by the listener are like direct waves and also reflected waves due to multiple reflections at various surfaces like roof, walls and everything. Okay, the quality of note received by the listener will be combined effect of these two sets of waves. So when the listener is listening, what happens? He is the quality depends upon the two types of waves, that is direct waves and also indirect waves, right? So there is also a time gap between the direct waves received by the listener as well as the indirect waves, right? Okay, so the time gap between the two waves, direct and indirect waves, is termed as reverberation, and that only we can say the persistence of audible sound. Okay, so the persistence of audible sound even after the source of sound is cut off is called as reverberation. And the next one is what? The time of reverberation. The time of reverberation is what? The time for which sound persists even after the source is cut off is called as time of reverberation. Here the persistence of audible sound is reverberation. The time taken to persist is called as time of reverberation. Okay, and what is standard time of reverberation? Is the time taken by the sound energy to fall to 1 millionth of its intensity before the source is cut off is called as standard time of reverberation. What is that? Standard time of reverberation is nothing but the time taken by the sound energy to fall to 1 millionth of its intensity. For example, when the speaker is delivering his speech, the intensity of sound is, for example, 1 decibel, we can say. Okay, so the time taken for the sound energy, right, to fall to 1 millionth of its intensity means 1 by, okay, 1 by 10, like 10 lakhs, right, is 1 millionth of its intensity, that is 1 by 10 lakhs time. Okay, 10 lakhs the part, right, the time taken by the sound energy to fall to 1 by 10 lakh the part of its original intensity when it is delivered is the source is cut off, before the source is cut off. Okay, so before the source is cut off, the sound energy has to fall up to its 1 by 10 lakhs the part. Okay, the time taken to fall to 1 by 10 lakh the part is called as what? Standard time of reverberation. Okay, these are the main important terms in these acoustics, right? Reverberation, persistence of sound; time of reverberation, time taken to persist the sound. Standard time of reverberation is the sound energy has to fall up to its 1 by 10 lakh part before the source of sound is cut off is called as standard time of reverberation. Okay, right. Okay, right. So to get for clear audibility of speech or music, it is necessary for us that each separate note should give sufficient intensity of sound in every part of the auditorium. Okay, that is, each separate note should give sufficient intensity of sound. That is, each and every part of the sound has to give sufficient intensity. Okay, in every part of the auditorium. That is, if the listeners are very near to us, we are able to listen. And if the listeners are very far from the speaker, they are not able to listen, means it is not a good auditorium, right? So, for each part of the auditorium, the intensity of sound has to distribute equally, right? And each note should die down rapidly before the maximum average intensity due to the next note is heard. Okay, each sound has to die. Each sound has to die means, see, it is the intensity and it is the time, right? So intensity has to distribute, intensity increases and has to distribute equally, and then it has to die when the second intensity or second note starts. Okay, when the intensity increases and when the second sound starts and the intensity increases, it has to die, right? When the third one has to increase, the second one has to die. If the sound waves are like that, means we can say that is a good auditorium, right? Okay, and now we have to know what are the factors that affecting the acoustics to construct a building, right? So for that, the first one is loudness. Okay, loudness is the speech of a person in a hall can be heard by audience consisting of about 1,000 persons, for example. Okay, that however the sound has to distribute among them evenly, right? If not, we can't say that the building is a very good of sound, right? And then, however, to ensure uniform distribution of sound intensity in the hall, the electrically amplified loudspeakers are to be used. Okay, to get a clear voice, the electrically amplified loudspeakers are to be used, and these speakers are kept at different places in the auditorium, right? This is one important factor that affect the acoustics in the building, right? And the next one is focusing. Focusing means here is the source of the sound or the speaker. The speaker delivers his speech and the source of sound will reach the observer, means the intensity, the maximum intensity has to reach, and very next second or very next time the speaker delivered his second note, the first note has to die. Okay, that we can say focusing. The third one is what? Echelon effect. What is echelon effect? Means if there is regular structure similar to a flight of stairs or set of railings in the hall, what happens? The sounds just fall on the sound wave, fall on the staircase and reflects back, right? Which we can say that as a echelon effect. If we use carpets on the staircase, what happens? The sound waves cannot able to reflect back, right? And then we'll get a good voice, right? That we can say echelon effect. And the third one is extra noise. Extra noise means sound received from outside of the room, sound produced by the fans, and sound produced by some other sources are called as extra noise, right? So proper attention also to be paid to maximum permissible speed of fans and the rate of air circulation in the room too. Okay, right. And the air conditioning pipes should be covered with cork and insulated acoustically from the main building, right? So extra noise means from outside, the sound of or the noise of fans, sound from outside, everything we can say that is extra noise. Okay, so inside mainly the noise of the fans is very high, means the minimum that is the minimum speed of sound is permissible, okay, in the room, and the air conditioned pipe should be covered with a cork, right? So this is the we can say extra noise. And then the next one is the resonance, right? So resonance, the acoustics of a building may also be affected by resonance. You know what is resonance of the? So if there is resonance for any audio frequency note, the intensity of the note will be entirely different from the intensity of desired. Okay, in halls of large size, the resonance frequency is much below the audible limit and harmful effect due to resonance will not be present. That means what? Resonance means what? The intensity of sound produced and the forced vibrations are equal, then what happens? We'll get a maximum amplitude, which is we can say that as resonance, right? If the resonance is also high, which is not good for an auditorium to get a very proper voice, right? And sound distribution in an auditorium should be like this, right? So the design of the auditorium requires smooth decay and growth of sound. In the auditorium, the sound must be distributed or diffused, right, over the whole area like this. It has to distribute over the whole area. To measure these factors, acoustic treatment is given like scattering of effect and irregularities on the wall surface and everything, right? So the sound has to distribute evenly in the auditorium, right? These are the factors those affect the acoustics of building. What are those? Loudness, focusing, echelon effect, extra noise, resonance. Okay, right. Now these are the factors that affect, right? And then what are the requisites of good auditorium then, right? So requisites of good auditorium are nothing but by hanging heavy curtains. Okay, by hanging heavy curtains, what happens? The sound propagates, okay, it falls on the curtains, so there is no possibility that the sound reflects from the curtain, right? So that is what curtain absorbs the sound, right? And by hanging pictures and maps, by having a few open windows, if there are windows, what happens? Sound escape through the windows and we won't get any echo, right? By having good audience, so if there is no audience in the room, what happens? Automatically we'll get the echo, right? Because there is no absorption of the sound waves. So what happens? We should having some good audience, right? And then the curved walls also are very useful to for the requisites of good auditorium. And also upholstered seats. Upholstered seats means what? The curved walls, and that is the curved walls also one of the big example, and then upholstered seats should be provided so that the absorption, that is approximately the same with or without audience. If upholstered seats are there, means with or without audience the absorption should be same. That's why we have to use the upholstered seats. Okay, and the walls and the ceiling should be covered with materials like cardboards, asbestos, the fiber glasses, etc. Why? Because their absorption coefficient is very high. Okay, we have to use the material whose absorption coefficient is very high in the auditorium. Then what happens? They absorb the sound and we won't get any reflected sound, that is we won't get any echo, right? And then the next one is the walls should be engraved and made rough with decorative materials. If the walls should be rough, what happens? We won't get exact voice in the opposite direction, that is we won't get the reflected sound, and we can't we can say there is no noise, right? And absence of echoes, okay, we know that. And free from resonance. Resonance means we'll get the maximum amplitude when both the intensity of both vibrations are same, right? Which also which is not good for an auditorium. So these are the requisites of good auditorium. Those are by hanging heavy curtains, by hanging pictures and maps, by having a few open windows, by having good audience, the curved walls, upholstered seats, walls and ceiling should be covered with the material whose absorption coefficient is very high, like cardboards, fiberglasses. The walls should be engraved and made rough with decorative materials, and the absence of echoes should also important. That should be free from resonance. Okay, these are the these are the requisites of a good auditorium. Okay, right. Okay, we'll come to the sound transducer. Okay, right. What is sound transducer? Actually, it is a device that converts informative energy or information energy to be transmitted into electrical signal. That is, it is a device that converts the information to be transmitted into electrical signal. That is, the sound signal can be converted into electrical signal and transmitted, which we can say as a sound transducer. Okay, so sound can be recorded by number of methods, and the important methods are by variable area method and by variable density method. So we'll see we are having the variable area method. In this, when a person speaks in front of a microphone M, okay, it converts sound energy into electrical energy, as we are using a transformer here. This is the primary and this is secondary coils of that. Okay, now when a person speaks in front of a microphone, okay, it converts the sound energy into electrical energy, right? The electrical energy changes in according with the intensity of sound, right? The electrical energy increases if the sound intensity increases. Okay, like that the electrical energy changes in accordance with the intensity of sound. It is amplified by an amplifier and then passed around the coils of the electromagnet N and S poles. Okay, so now what happens? It is amplified by the amplifier and then it passes through the coil of electromagnet between the two poles NS. Okay, a loop of duralium type of small thickness is placed between the two poles. There is a loop, we can say there is a strip. Okay, if there is a loop of very small thickness, and the two strips of the loop, okay, these are the two strips of the loop. Okay, the two strips of the loop are parallel to each other and form a sort of uniform slit. Okay, and then when a beam of light is passed through the slit, like this, when a beam of light is passed through the slit, okay, it falls on the space provided for the sound track here on the rotating film as shown in the figure, right? So first there is a microphone M, sound signal can be converted from sound energy to electrical energy, and it is amplified, and that amplified signal passes through the electromagnet, okay, between the two strips, and the signal is tracked by the film here. Okay, when the varying current is passed between the two loops here, okay, what happens when the varying current is passed between the two poles of the width of the slit between the two poles changes, right? When the varying current is passed between the two poles, right, it results in changing the area of the slit. That is, when the current is passed between the two poles, the width of the slit between the two poles changes. Okay, when the signal passes through the two poles, right, the width of this one changes. That means what? Depends upon the amplification, or depends upon the intensity, the width of the slit here changes, right? So when the width of the slit changes here in accordance with the variation of the current, which depends on the intensity of the sound. So when the width changes, the deposition or the tracking of the electrical signal on the film is also changes, right? So depends upon that, what happens, we can say the intensity of the sound also changes. Thus the record of the film is constant intensity but of variable area. That is, the depends upon the amplification, what happens, the area here will change, which we can say variable area method. Okay, that is one type of transducer. So what happens, once again, here there is a microphone. Okay, that microphone here, we can say here is a speaker. Okay, so the mic from this speaker, right, from here the speaker delivers a speech, right? So sound signals by the microphone converts into electrical signal, and it passes through the amplifier, which amplifies the signal, and then the amplified signal passes through the electromagnet, and between the two loops of the between the loops, okay, between the loops, two strips of the loops, right? So according with the amplification, the deposition area on the film will change. Okay, that this is a variable area method, one type of sound transducer. Okay, right? So like this, there are so many types of sound transducers are there, like variable area method, variable density method, and everything. And from this we'll change in a reverse process of converting, and there is a reverse process which converts an electrical energy into sound again. So here we'll get the electrical energy, right? So again what we want, actually we want the sound energy. So there is a reverse process that the electrical energy converts into change energy, and that device is variable or density, there is a device which converts the electrical energy into sound energy again. Okay, so here what happens, the sound energy converts into electrical energy, and electrical energy again converts into sound energy. The total thing we can say that as a sound transducer, right?